Hello, my name is Scott, and today I'll be doing an album review. It is an album by an artist named ESPRIT, and the album is called 200% Electronica. Sorry about that. ESPRIT is an artist comprised of a guy named George Clanton. It's unlikely you're watching this video not being aware of who that is, but just in case you are, be sure to check out this album, and then that way you can kind of compare what you think about it to my comments and observations. I don't have a picture of the album. This is a very cut-rate video, but I will post a link to it in the info below. So, on to the review of 200% Electronica by ESPRIT. The album is totally awesome. It far surpassed my expectations. It definitely has some vaporwave elements, but it's also more dreamy and ambient than I thought it would be. The sound of it, of most of the songs, the sound is so unique that it's almost becoming its own genre. The main reason I say that is because I can't really think of any artists that sound like him. You know, occasionally I'll type into an app or a web player to do ESPRIT radio, and most of the songs they suggest don't really sound anything like it. Now, the channel that a lot of his music is featured on YouTube, Artsy Music, I've found a few tracks on there that kind of sound along the lines of it, but generally they're not as unique or just not as good. Another reason I like it is that there's a good amount of variance between the songs, and there's definitely been some, and none of the albums I feel like sound the same either. A couple of his previous works were Summer Nights and Girls Only, which I've only listened through those albums once or twice. Haven't listened to them a whole lot. Another album he did was Virtua Zip, and I love that album. If you haven't checked it out yet, do yourself a favor and do so right now. Or sometime down the road. So back to 200% Electronica. This is a follow-up to George Clanton's 100% Electronica. Several, if not all, the tracks are derived from 100% Electronica. Now, the reason I'm not sure if it's several or all of them is because some of them clearly are reworks of songs from that album, and some of them sound completely new and original to me. Some of the reworks would be like Secret, You're in Love, and Flounder 202. And Flounder 202, by the way, has one of the best music videos I've ever seen. Like, it's just so cool, the world that it creates. Like, if I had to live in a music video universe, I think I would pick that one. But some other songs sound completely new to me, like Trip to the OC and It's a Fast Driving Rave up with ESPRIT. I'll go through it track by track and do my best to not be long-winded about it, although I'll warn you, sounding long-winded is kind of my jammy jam. I won't do that again. First song, Secret. Downright love this song. It's a rework of Keep a Secret, which was a good 80s sounding dance song. This is a more calm and serene version of it, and I really like I guess you would call it the chorus towards the end. Like, just the last minute of the song puts a fitting end to it. Second track is Warm Pop. It's upbeat, has some lyrics, which there are not many of to be found on this album. I believe it's a rework of Warm Spot, which is one of my favorite tracks on 100% Electronica. I definitely like where George has this one going, and the tempo at the end during the closing is really cool. It almost kind of like distorts it, but in a good way, and it's almost like it sounds like you're going back in time. Like, that's what going back in time would sound like. Third track, Seal. Again, it's ambient and magnificent. It's like it takes you to another place, you know? These first three tracks really set up the rest of the album well. It kind of builds anticipation for the later tracks which really stand out and shine. Fourth track is called So Heavy You Can Float. It's a change of pace tempo-wise for sure. It's more slower and definitely kind of has a vintage vaporwave sound. It's not my favorite, but it's still okay, and it has a perfect lead-in. So the end of this song leads into the fifth track just remarkably well. Which brings us to the fifth song on the album, You're in Love. It borrows some lyrics from the song It Makes the Babies Want to Cry, which was my favorite song on 100% Electronica. But this one's more slower. I'm not exactly the wordsmith, but You're in Love. Definitely check it out. Again, the music video for this one, extremely cool. This is just an extremely dreamy and good-natured song. And again, cannot say enough about the great music video. It pairs so well with it. Number 6, the sixth song, is called It's a Fast Driving Ride Up with ESPRIT. This was an original, I think, and it was the first single that he released before the album dropped. It starts off with like a grating siren that I'm not a huge fan of. However, it gets better really quick, and it's another solid vaporwave track. And it's an awesome lead to the following track, Flounder 202. Flounder 202. Oh, man. This is the big one. It's quite possibly my favorite track on the album. It's a rework of Did I Flounder, and I really like that song. The only thing I had against it was I kind of lost interest after the first chorus. But Flounder 202 takes all the instrumentals from that song and just makes them better. And again, cannot say enough about how wonderful that music video is for it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to also post the link to that music video down in the info, because you need to watch it. The 8th track is Purity 202. There was also a song called Purity on 100% Electronica, which was like just a really quick, but still kind of like a nice interlude on that album. This is a rework of that, however, it's much slower, and thus it takes longer. But this is one of the few tracks where I don't like this version better. The 9th track is Trip to the OC, and wow, just wow. That was my immediate reaction to listening to this song for the first time. It's probably a tie between this song and Flounder 202 as my favorite tracks from this album. It's, I would say, by far the best or the most danceable song, and it's probably because of all the dancing that takes place in the music video, and that's what makes me think that. However, there's just a lot of great percussion also. There's like a fun build-up for the first 2 minutes of it, and then it's followed by just a great payoff. And again, because of all that, that's why I love it so much. The last couple tracks on the album, the 10th one, Slow 2018, it mixes it up a little bit. It's very ESPRIT sounding, and part of it, some instrument in there reminds me of Bonus Wave, which is probably one of my favorite, definitely top 3 favorite ESPRIT songs of all time. So Slow 2018, I dig it. And then the very last track on the album is called Play That Thing Again. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it's like the one song on this album that I don't like. I've given it a few listens. It's just not for me. In closing, if you're a fan of Vaporwave, then it's a no-brainer to pick up this album. Like what are you even doing if you don't have it? And if it just in general you like electronic music, give this one a try. I really don't think you'll be disappointed. Support the artists. Help keep people that are making this type of music. Help keep them going. For me personally, finding ESPRIT has been so rewarding and refreshing. It's eye-opening to me how great and out of the norm electronic music that's out there. It's not a very good sentence. I apologize. I hope ESPRIT is around for a really long time and continues to make many more albums. This concludes the album review. Thanks for watching.